Good day everyone. The lesson for today is about language learning materials development. In this video, I will be answered some question. And here's question number 1. What are the materials in language learning materials development? In the context of the language teaching, the following give their definition of materials. Tomlinson said that the materials can be anything that can be used in the facilitate of the learning of the language. Gordon and Gibbs said that the materials play a central role in the language teaching. Diamanti, Fauji, and Inayati, they emphasize the materials are the heart of the teachers and learning process. The materials are the chosen selectively and used effectively will improve the teaching and learning process. Question number 2. What are the materials development? Materials development is actually both field of study and undertaking. Field of study because of study of principle, the produce and implementation of design, and the evaluation of the language teaching development, and undertaking because materials development involve three things: the production, the evaluation, and the implementation. Question number 3. What are the current issues in the materials development? First, how will we want to learn? Teacher administration concern for the understandable and conformity. Second, should text be authentic? Third, do learners need a course book? Fourth, do learners need published materials? Fifth, should materials be learning focused in acquisition focus? 6. Should materials be censored? 7. Should materials be driven by theory or should be driven by practice? 8. Should materials be driven by symbolic needs or market needs? 9. Should materials gather learning effective and should be tried to change them? 10th, should materials aim for the language development only use? Should materials only aim for the personal and educational development? 11. Should materials aim to the contribute of the teacher's development as well of language learner? Who should develop the materials? First, professional materials writers. Their people are determined by the publisher from the analysis of the market needs. They are very experienced and implemented as well. And they are very familiar with the reality and rules in publishing are already there are system because they're considered it is their full-time job. Teachers. Tomlinson found out that teachers throughout for the world only need a little training, experience, and support to become a materials writer who can produce imaginative materials relevant and affect their learners. Cite example of language learning materials used in the classroom. Printing materials, textbook, student worksheet, pictures, photograph, newspaper, and magazine. Audio materials, cassette and impact disc. Audio visual, video impact disc and film. Interactive teaching materials, web-based learning materials, computer assessment introduction. Authentic materials refer to the use of teaching and text, photograph, video selection as a teaching resource that are not especially prepared of pedagogy process. Creative materials refer to the textbook and other especially development introductional resource. Point out the positive and negative trend of materials development. 8. Positive trend of materials development. Materials required learning to invest themselves and discover have a certain vocabulary and experience to the target of language. More materials used on a corpus data reflecting the language use. more expensive reader series into created however fewer linguistic concern in more productive content. There is an increasing in the attempt of personal and language phrases. There is an increasing attempt to gain and effectively engage for the language. There, there is now increasing in the internet source of knowledge. There evidence for the movement toward the experience of spoken grammar. There are increasing ministries and institutions to create their own materials in English language. 9. Negative trend of materials development. There are more pronouns and return and central phrase in the grammar language curriculum. There are far fewer reduced in teaching, speaking, and listening rather than the reader and writing. There are assumptions of learning have short attention span. There are assumptions that learning can do again if they are engaged on effectively demanding activity while they engage the language learning. There are neglect in the use of literature cause of book. There are pronouncing analytical activity while neglecting different activities should rather and become a certain learners. They're obsessed in counter issue for issues that are learning through. There are tendency in the use of an underestimate and emotional linguistic capability of our learner. Relate in principle the theory of language learning in the development of appropriate language learning materials. Richard requests a different belief at least equality of unit of material should be reflect. Give learners something they have take away from the lesson. Teachers come a learning feel they comes us. Practice learning item on interesting in vowel way. Provide practical learning experience. Provide opportunities on individual practice. Provide opportunities and personalization. Provide opportunities of self-assessment of learning. Provide example materials according to the each of principle second learning accusation. First principle, student feel a good in themselves. Example materials the principal teacher promoting God in relationship is study, partner, cultural sharing, collaborating group, and the feeling comfort and acceptance they need to keep effectively fitter low. Second principle, understanding producing example. Materials with the principle of teaching providing comprehensive input without context, create literature in CPD that age cooperate and allow students to show comprehension but verbally and non-verbally in their use of L1 if necessary. Third principle, language acquisition as effective led that conservative as one as task performance rather than the language. Example, materials is a principle for good assignment working out concern experience with proposal materials created learner. Fifth, fourth principle, study, learn and read and write while using our skills. Example materials for the principle do what promote oral writing, word like journal writing, meaningful writing assignment, note taking assist and make authentic reading materials available. Fifth principle, language are learned through trial or error, mistake, and learning tools not failed. Example of the materials with the principle is the focus of communication content. Do not over correct and mistake in the learning like brainstorming group activity. Explain teachers and materials developer. Whatever material should a teacher generally use in the basics for much learning input that a learner receives for the language practice for a core in the classroom. Teachers are materials developers. In the involved bear with every day the matching materials to the needs of learner in the order to the use of select, adapt as supplement materials when prepare their lesson and make decision about their materials throughout their lesson and respond to their to lesson reaction. Thank you.